Hello, Leo Risings. Welcome to your monthly zodiac reading for the month of April 2025. As always, please check your sun, moon, and rising in case this reading does not resonate with you. Maybe one of the others will. That may be the area of your chart that is being activated the most this month. Otherwise, we are going to focus on Leo Risings. We are going to pull energy, an overall energy theme for the month. We will pull tarot for each week, clarify that with more tarot, correlate those energies to the astrological transits, and then wrap it up with some additional oracle guidance. So let's see what Leo risings need to know for the month of April. The Arrow Master, hitting the mark, intention, and detachment. Card number 10. 10 represents the result of a completion. 9 is the completion and 10 is the result of that completion, right? So when we look at life cycles, it begins from 1 to 9, 1 being the beginning, the start of it, 9 being the final chapter, so to speak, and 10 is like the result of that. It's like how we process that final chapter. How are we processing that cycle that has now come to completion? Let's see what the tarot has to say. I think I'm going to go with this one first. Here in the first week, the Devil. Here in the second week, the Three of Cups. Very nice. Okay. Here in the fourth week, the King of Swords in reverse. And the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. So when I see these cards, I'm like, okay, what are you attached to? Right? Because we've got detachment here. And anytime we're attached, and of course the Devil is starting out this week, and the Devil likes to assert control by giving you things to feel attached to. Like our identity, our ego can get wrapped up in these very materialistic things, and that's kind of what keeps us bound to the quote-unquote devil's grasp. Here in the first week, Venus retrograde is conjunct or sitting next to the North Node in Pisces, as well as Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces, or Pisces, sits in your 8th house. This is a very karmic house. But this is also the energy of or it's like the house of like energetic debt. It is sex. It's the taboo. It's the occult. It's death. It's inheritances. So this definitely can mean that there is a certain level of, it feels like materialistic attachment when it comes to certain things, maybe even people in your lives. Pisces sits in this house, so it could be that there's a tendency to maybe want to escape the very heaviness of that house. So it could be that there's a tendency for escapism, but Venus retrograde within this house, she's having us reevaluate what it is that we value or what it is that you guys value when it comes to energetic exchanges, like the energy that we inherit from other people, specifically family members, debt that we inherit from family. And it could be, what tendencies have you picked up from family members, right? What habits and qualities have you picked up from your parents, or from, what generational curses have you inherited, basically? But you could be reevaluating what it is that you value when it comes to how you want your energy to speak for itself. And this could be from restrictions, feelings of being bound and obligated to certain things, and that's Saturn kind of imposing its will. And when Saturn is there. It's forcing you to reevaluate what it is that you value as far as energy moves and how energy moves. And that is meant to kind of allow you to come into this realization with the North Node in Pisces that you're meant to move forward, maybe in a sense of detachment, right? Maybe there's a, like, you're holding on to generational wounds that have been passed down to you. You're holding on to them because they're in some way, it creates this sense of identity. All right, here in this, but we'll see more about how this unfolds with the clarifying cards. In this week, we've got Mercury going direct within the sign of Pisces. So Mercury, the planet of thoughts, ideas, and communication, is moving forward in the sign of Pisces. And for you, Mercury retrograde can quite literally feel like a party. It feels like a relief because now maybe you're not thinking about all of these things. So it definitely can feel like a sense of relief and celebration here with the Three of Cups. Here in the third week, we've got the King of Swords in reverse. When this energy is in reverse, it can represent overthinking and overanalyzing. It can represent a need for more discipline, mental discipline, so to speak. It can also represent that there's someone around us, or it could be even us, who has the tendency to be a little cold and calculating with the things that you say. This is the week that the full moon, that we're going to experience a full moon within the sign of Libra. Full moons are a buildup of energy. They are a culmination, right? And we see that by the fullness of the moon, and the light of that moon is illuminating things that we need to see so that we can ultimately release them. Libra sits in your third house of communication. Are you being a little cold and calculating with how you communicate? Are you overthinking how you communicate with other people? This could be what the full moon in Libra is bringing up for you. That is also when we have Venus going direct within your 8th house. Venus going direct, again, this energy is going to begin to move forward. So that can feel like a reprieve. With the King of Swords being there, this feels more like the full moon influence versus Venus going direct. But you never know. Again, we'll have to see what the other cards represent. On the 18th, Mars is moving into the sign of Leo. Mars is moving into your first house. So this is the planet of action, aggression, desire, physical assertion, is moving into your first house. So you could all of a sudden really step into a sense of confidence. Just be mindful to not let it escape to that shadow side, where you're acting maybe a little almost like, it feels like false bravado, like you're kind of acting bold and courageous when it comes to asserting who you are. But either that's going to come from true confidence within yourself, or it's going to come from false confidence that is actually coming from quite a bit of insecurity. So just stay mindful of that. On the 19th is when we have Taurus season begin. Anytime we start a new astrological season, the themes and qualities of that season they begin to take center stage for the next several months. Taurus is grounded, it's practical, it's slow moving, it's indulgent, and it likes to indulge in those very comfortable things, right? It's ruled by Venus. So it has a tendency to want to indulge in those things, but it also likes to indulge in the slow moving energy of being outdoors and just enjoying the present moment. Here, again, with the King of Swords in reverse, I feel like this might have a lot to do with, again, communication, the full moon highlighting your third house. In the last week, we've got the Eight of Pentacles, which is really, really lovely because this is when we have the new moon in Taurus happening on the 27th. New moons are a blank slate, so to speak, where you get to begin to write a new chapter for yourself. And Taurus sits in your 10th house. This is your career house. And the Eight of Pentacles is all about refinement. right? Refining these skills that you want to ultimately put out into the world. This is also the entrepreneur card. So it could mean that you discover around the new moon that you really want to be an entrepreneur when it comes to something, and you're going to begin to, or the new moon's going to provide that opportunity to set intentions on how you can begin to accomplish that. And for you guys, it's the Eight of Pentacles, which is all about refinement and mastery of your craft. So let's see. Ah, goodness. That one just flipped over. I love this deck, but the cards are very slick. Like the type of material is very thin and they're very slick. And if I'm not careful with how I shuffle them, like that, they go flying. They will go flying, and not in a way that, makes it look like super magical and cool. No, it just looks clumsy is what it is. All right, here in the first week, the Devil, the King of Cups, oh goodness, and the Eight of Wands in reverse. Interesting. Okay, so here in this first week, the Devil, like I said, is there. Hang on, I need to formulate this message. This could be someone around you, because the Eight of Wands in reverse can represent miscommunication, like not hitting that mark. Something is not hitting that mark. And it could be actions that you're taking from a place of ego, from a place of materialism, from a place of control, from a place of attachment, are not hitting the mark for you. They're not hitting the mark. And that's why Venus is retrograde in your 8th house, to really have you evaluate, what do you value, because you're taking action on things that you don't value, right? And so the King of Cups is there to be like, look, you need to step into this sense of heart-centered action, heart-centered communication, heart-centered. How do you want, like I said, we were talking about energy and how you perceive energy and the energy that you put out into the world for others to perceive. If someone around you is taking action, or let me backstep, I'm getting ahead of myself. If you're taking action off of ego, attachment, obsession, unhealthy desire, escapism, if you're taking action based upon that, then the King of Cups is like, one, you need to focus on emotional regulation so that you can tap into that intuition, and so that you can begin to actually make choices that are more heart-centered and less ego-centered. Does that make sense? If this is someone around you who is kind of influencing you to make certain choices, again, ignore their influence, ignore what it is that they want, and focus on what you want, realigning with those values. What do you want for your life? What do you want to create? Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? And allow yourself to make choices based upon, again, that heart-centered action versus doing it to appease others or doing it for some other reason. Here in the second week, the Three of Cups, the Page of Cups, a message, something very unexpected could come through, and it feels like celebrating. and the Wheel of Fortune. How lovely. Mercury going direct in your 8th house is about to feel real good. It's about to feel really good because you guys are receiving a message of something that feels like the energy is finally moving forward. If you have felt like things have just been stagnant, like I'm not getting anything, every action I take is not hitting the mark and I don't know why. Taking action from that heart-centered place is going to move the energy forward enough to where you receive a message that feels celebratory. It feels like you're celebrated and you're supported by not only the divine, but people around you. You're going to receive this message and it feels like very good news. I mean, look how, I know you guys can't really see them, but look how exciting. This is the 3 of Cups, celebrating, yay, having fun, receiving a message coming from a very potentially unexpected place. And then the 10, the Wheel of Fortune moving in your favor. And then here we have 10 as well. Something is definitely moving forward to the point where it feels celebratory and it feels very exciting. Here in the 3rd week, the Queen of Swords in reverse, the 7 of Swords in reverse, and then the 7 of Cups. So this feels more like, so the King of Swords, it feels a lot like mental discipline because you're coming into a space of awareness here with the 7 of Cups. Or excuse me, you're coming into a space of awareness with the 7 of Swords in reverse. And you're also coming into a space of clarity when it comes to how you communicate maybe with other people. Also, because Libra is the sign of relationships, it could be that around the full moon, you see someone's true colors. Be prepared for that. Okay? Someone around you who could potentially speak to you in a very unkind way, who you figure out might be manipulating you with their words. Their mask is coming off and it's going to bring you out of that like disillusionment, or it's going to like bring you out of that delusion that maybe you've been in, probably because they've perpetrated themselves to be that way. And that's not going to resonate for everybody, but it was a message that came through very clearly. So for some of you, that is what's going to happen. And move forward in that situation with intention and detachment. Okay? Don't take it personally if somebody comes at you like that. That's not your job. It's not your job to own their feelings, own their thoughts, own their actions. You're not responsible for that. They are. Okay? For some of you, that's not going to be the case. And this is going to be more about mental discipline when it comes to how you communicate. It's going to be like a realization, right? With the 7 of Swords in reverse, this is a truth being revealed. This is a sense of awareness you're coming into a sense of awareness. The 7 of Cups in reverse is a moment of truth and clarity. The fog is being lifted when it comes to how you communicate with other people, right? It could be that you're the one who is communicating in a very cold and calculating way. It could be that you're the one who is communicating in a way that is very manipulative. And that is going to be like a very stark realization, okay? Here in the last week, the 8 of Pentacles, entrepreneurship, refinement, and mastery, stability. Here, creating a home that you want to be in, creating a sense of stability, and the 3 of Wands. So we've got the 8 of Pentacles, the 4 of Wands, and the 3 of Wands. This is the new moon in Taurus, specifically when it comes to your career, is providing you an opportunity to really begin to refine the necessary skills that are going to be required of you to create the stability you need when it comes to your career. And then the Three of Wands is like, now, as long as you're working on refining these skills, as long as you're putting in the necessary work to make this happen for yourself, you're going to feel much more stable, and you're actually going to all you're going to have to do is wait for the moment to come to you. Stop looking for the moment, focus more on refinement of those skills, mastery of those skills, and allow for these opportunities to come to you versus seeking them out, because they will. The three of Wands represents divine timing, right? So when it comes to your career, if you have felt left out in the cold in your career, if you have felt like everybody's becoming more successful and I'm not, yada, 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 that's not the case. It just wasn't the right time for you. And that could be why there's a sense of detachment. You need to focus on refining those skills that are going to establish the foundation of the career you want. And all you got to do is just detach. Focus on you, do you, and let the universe do what it does. Because as long as you're acting from a place of alignment, all you have to do is sit back and wait. Here in the first week, it's time to release negativity. Make those decisions based on compassion and heart-led compassion and empathy and just unconditional love, versus from the ego, or versus making decisions because someone else says that you need to make decisions that way, right? Don't let external influences drive you to make decisions that are not in alignment with what you want. Okay? It's time to release that negativity. It's time to let go of that ego. It's time to let go of those chains that bind you when it comes to the energetic, when it comes to allowing the energy of influence or the energy of others to influence you. It's time for you to make choices that are aligned with you and you only. Here in the second week, balance spirituality and practicality. Balance it. These two can live in harmony. People can live very spiritual lives, but also live very practically within the world. Very much so. So whatever it is, whatever message you receive, whatever intuitive guidance you get that week, know that it's happening for your highest good, and all you have to do is learn how to balance these two. Prosperity lies ahead, new moon in Taurus. But this is occurring here on the full moon, the week of the full moon. But like I said, this is whatever happens here with the full moon, whether that is you coming into a space of clarity and realization that someone around you is speaking to you in a way that ultimately ends up manipulating you or controlling you, or whether you come to the realization that you speak to others that way, realizing that and breaking away from that cycle is what allows you the freedom to step into this energy here, the fourth week that we have here in this last week in the month, with the Eight of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, and the Three of Wands. Prosperity lies ahead, and emotions are running high. Maybe by you actively choosing to focus on yourself, other people can jump in and try to influence you, and it couldn't try to knock you off course. But stay true to this energy here. Stay true to refining what it is that you want. Stay true to focusing on the choices and the decisions that cultivate that sense of stability and happiness within yourself, and just allow the universe to bring you every opportunity that it's going to bring you. So I truly hope this helped, Leos. I hope you guys have an incredible month, and we will see you next time.